Hello viewers, good evening. This is attorney Naresh Gehi and today's show is live and we are going to just basically talk about a very important topic today, and we still have some time, so we are just trying to make sure that we start everything on time, and so we have around 2 more minutes left and we should be starting the show in the next 2 minutes. So please be here, do not leave and until we set up everything. We're having some technical issues and I plan on setting up everything properly. So good evening, it's 6:30 p.m. and we are live right now with Attorney Gehi, and welcome to Green Card with Gehi. We are going to discuss a very important issue today, is that how to become legal if you're undocumented in the United States or if you have an order of deportation against you. So a lot of people have called us and told us, Mr. Gehi, I am undocumented in the United States and I want to get my green card. So what is the most important way for you to actually kind of get your green card? Let's take a simple example. You came to this country and right now you have a removal order against you, which means you have been ordered, deported / removed from the United States. And I'm going to speak very slowly so that my viewers can understand that there may be light at the end of the tunnel. So you came to the United States and for example, you applied for political asylum. And now you have a deportation order. So if you have a deportation order, this does not mean that you may not qualify for the green card. You may still qualify for the green card. How can that happen? You are married to a green card holder. Or if you're married to a citizen, your citizen spouse can sponsor you and you may still qualify for the green card. How does that happen? You have an order of deportation. For example, you cross the border from Mexico, or you cross the border from Canada, came to the United States. You applied for political asylum, and your case was denied by the immigration judge. Or you have a deportation order / a removal order. What can you do? The very first thing that you need to do here, which is very important, is to consult with a very experienced immigration attorney. He has to look at the entire deportation case first. He has to review it thoroughly. And after the case is reviewed, you may have a couple of options. You may be eligible for the professional waiver. So what one has to do is first one needs to see whether you have a legal entry into the United States or whether you crossed the border and came to the country. Then depending upon the facts and circumstances of the case, or whether you entered fraudulently into the country. So these are the three common ways of how people enter into the United States. If you have a fraudulent entry, that can be a problem. But if you entered without a visa, or if you entered with a visa and you have a deportation order, you're married to a green card holder or a citizen, then your US citizen spouse or your green card holder spouse or your green card holder parent if you're single or your US citizen parent can still sponsor you for the green card. So step one, we are talking about spouses sponsoring US citizen or green card holder spouses sponsoring their foreign relative their foreign spouse, that's a husband or a wife, for a green card. If you do not have a spouse, your parent can sponsor you. So take an example. Let's go slow. I crossed the border from Canada. I applied for political asylum and I have a deportation order. But I'm not married. But I have a father or a mother who's a green card holder or a citizen. Even my father or my mother can apply for a relative petition and qualify me for a green card in future. How does that work? Your father applied for you. And now, after a few years, your priority date became current. After the priority date become current, you can begin with the visa processing of the case. After the visa processing of the case is done, or during that period, you can apply for waivers under the Immigration and Nationality Act. And waivers under immigration law can be very tricky and very difficult. The law of waivers clearly states that a person has to show extreme, exceptional, and extreme hardship to the US citizen relative. And in this case, it can either be your parent or can be your spouse who has to suffer the hardship. It can be a green card holder parent. It can be a US citizen parent, or it can be a green card holder spouse, or it can be a US citizen spouse. Now, what happens if you have a deportation order? You need two different types of waivers. But if you don't have a deportation order, then under 212A9C, you may just need the unlawful presence waiver. So it all depends upon the facts and circumstances of your case. The most common myth means exactly a misconception, that I've encountered over the years is that people think that if you have a deportation order, you cannot do anything about your case. That is incorrect. You may still have light at the end of the tunnel, but everything depends upon the facts and circumstances of your case. Recently, I got a call from a client who had accepted voluntary departure many years ago. And now this person has parents in the United States who are US citizens. Can they do something? The answer is yes. The parent should apply for the son or for the daughter, who's the foreigner here. Let's use the word foreigner to make life easy for our viewers. And when the petition comes up, at that time, we need to also apply for the waivers. And once if the waiver is approved, then we need to see as to basically whether all the waivers are approved or no. And if all the waivers are approved, then the client may have to just leave the country for a few weeks and he can come back on a green card, and he will not be subjected, he may not be subjected to the 10-year bar if exactly everything is good on the case. Have I handled cases? Have I handled cases wherein people have had removal orders and did they get the green card? The answer is yes. We've had people who came into a law firm who had deportation orders. Prior results do not guarantee future outcome. But yes, having a deportation order does not mean that it's the end of the game. Of course, it's going to be a lot of hard work. It's not going to be an easy case, especially because you have been ordered deported. So does that mean that there's no hope? I disagree. There is hope in those cases. And it depends Sometimes I've seen people that, they have these deportation orders and they never got the notice. In such instances, you can file for a motion to reopen. Nowadays, it's very difficult to get a motion to reopen granted from the immigration court. But in the past, it was much easier, but things are becoming difficult in the world of immigration. So someone asked me a question, and the question was, Mr. Gehi, I came into this country, very interesting question, and I crossed the border. And I was married to an American citizen. And this person abused me every day. And I have my police reports, I have medical records. Do I have to go back to get my green card? The answer is you may not have to go back to get a green card. Because if you are classified under the Immigration and Nationality Act as an abusive spouse, there is an exception under Section 245 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, wherein you can adjust your status to a permanent resident in the United States. So the law on this point is very tricky. So you have to be careful when you have a deportation order. You need to make sure that you do your best. And the biggest issue which I've seen is that there are people, they have removal orders, they have relatives, but they don't take the next step of getting sponsored and becoming legal in this country. If you're not going to be legal, you're causing trouble for yourself. Because if you ever get picked up by immigration or by any other authority who surrenders you to immigration, the first thing most officers will ask you, you had so much time in this country. Why did you not try to become legal? The law expects you to act. That's your job, to make sure that you're legal and make sure that you live in this country as a permanent resident or on a legal visa or as a citizen in the United States. So make sure that if you have a removal order, try to basically start working on your case and aim towards becoming a green card holder. Try your best to become a green card holder in the United States. Now, a couple of other questions which I've been getting, and this especially after the pandemic. Mr. Gehi, I came to this country on a visit visa, and I couldn't leave because of the pandemic. And now my visa is coming up, or my visa has already come up. First thing is stay legal in the country. But God forbid, if you entered on a B1, B2 visa, and if you're out of status right now, consider getting married to an American citizen. Consider getting married to a US citizen, because through that you will not have to go back if you entered on a B2 visa. And if everything looks good, you will not have to go back and you can adjust in the United States, provided you don't have any adverse factors in your case. Yes. So very often people ask me that I entered with a visa, and if I marry an American citizen, and if I'm out of status because I overstayed my visa, can I still qualify for a green card? My answer is yes, you may. Because you entered legally into this country on a B2 visa. You married an American citizen. You need the proper representation. Doesn't matter which part of the country you're watching the show. We have cases from all over the United States. Yes, and of course, we've been to many immigration offices in this country, many states, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut. We've gone to many, many different states. So the question is, if you are in a position where you are out of status, you have overstayed your visa, Even if you have a deportation order, there may be light at the end of the tunnel. So he spoke about different examples. You're on a student visa. You're legal. Now look at this good example. A student calls me, tells me, Mr. Gai, I am on my F1 visa and it's about to expire soon. But I met this wonderful lady. She's a green card holder. What can I do? My answer is very simple. Get married. Get married. Even if you marry a green card holder, you may qualify for a green card here. So you all have to make sure that we work together to either make you legal or make sure that you work and become a green card holder of this country. And as I said, there's an easy way to reach us. It's info@gaylaw.com. For me, if you become legal, that makes me very happy, especially because what's happening in this country is something that I've not seen, in my practice since a very long time. People are getting kind of, into trouble for no apparent reason. And unfortunately, being in immigration jail is not the best thing in today's time. And I pray that, each of you find a way to stay legal, get your green cards so you can travel to your home countries, meet your nears and dears whom you might have not met for many years. So even if you're married to a citizen or a green card holder, and if that spouse is troubling you, you can still do a lot. Basically, what you can do is try to fight for your green card independently if you are a victim of abuse or if you have been subjected to extreme cruelty. So it's time for questions and answers. And firstly, thank you to the people who helped me to host the show. That's Amin, and to Daniel. Thank you for this fabulous job. So we'll be taking some questions, and we are live. So if you have a question, you can join us live on our Zoom show, or you can even basically ask us your questions on chat. So, or if you have to email us, so it's I'm live. So I'm just going to type this for your sake to let you know. Live, and you may So folks, yes, the floor is now open for questions. And if you have any questions, please do let us know, and so we can take the questions. So I'm going to give 30, okay, I came here, this is from Bharat Vikaria. I came last year and now I am illegally. Now, so what can I do for the green card? I've been here. So Bharat, there's good news for you. If you marry an American citizen, a green card holder, you can still qualify for a green card in the United States, even if you have been out of status since 2009. So that's something good that you can do at this stage. And if you marry a citizen, the good thing is that you can qualify for a green card without leaving the country if you entered with a proper visa, such as a B1 or a B2 visa. So that's my question, answer to Bharat's question. So there's another question here. Who stayed on B1, B2 visa don't have any immediate green card holder. So my common law partner is also undocumented. Anyway, for me or the other. So my question over here would be like, how long have you been here? Your other bet may be if you have serious problems in your home country, you may consider a late asylum. Generally, you have to apply for asylum within 1 year. But if you have issues in your country, that can be, suppose you have a same-sex partner, and if your country is going to have a problem, because in some countries like Saudi Arabia, there are serious issues when you marry a person of the same sex. So you can consider late asylum. You can consider that as an option, as a backup, and we can look into your situation. You can email us at info@gaylaw.com. This is the answer to the question for the OST on the B1, B2. Now there's a question from F. Mayman. My friend came on a B2 and got E2. Good. You applied for EB3, and if EB3 is denied while E2 is expired, then what will be the solution? Now, the very first thing is I want to see from which country your friend is from. So if he's from Canada, the problem can be fixable. That's number one. Now, if the E2 has expired, I need to know when did the E2 expire? That's number two. And if the E2 expired, has the person appealed the E2 or has he taken any steps to make sure he has not accrued unlawful presence? So Mr. Memon, you can email me at info@gaylaw.com. So as you all rightly know that we have 35 people working for us, folks, and we handle complicated immigration cases. And this seems like a complicated case, and I would be happy to review it and let you know what we can do about it. So next question here is from Theo. I came here as a child on a B2 with my parent in 2014. I'm getting married with a citizen, but she does not want to live together. Is it going to be harder for my case? Yes, Theo. I've handled cases wherein people don't live together. The burden of proof is very high, and you will need a lawyer. And if we can prove to immigration that your marriage is based upon love and respect, and if it is not with an intent to circumvent the United States laws, then you may qualify for a green card. This is a difficult case, but this can be handled, Theo. So if anyone wants to reach us at info@gaylaw.com. All right, so these are some of the questions. If there's any more questions, okay, so Shakti Singh has a question. So Shakti, please join us, and I'd love to see people joining us on Zoom. Yes, Shakti, can you turn on your video, please, and your audio? Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you come live on video, please?
Can you see me now?
I cannot, unfortunately.
Can you see me now?
I cannot. All right. Anyway, ask me a question, Shakti. I would request the technicians to review this matter, whether it's our issue, whether it's a client issue here. Okay, Shakti. Hello? All right, so let me just take the other question here until Shakti gets ready. So the question here is from, okay, so this is a question.
Yes.
Okay, I entered the US in 2002 on an H-1B visa, and my husband passed away in 2008. Can I get married and fix my status? Was there any other ways? Marriage will be a good way for you to consider. To a US citizen, that would be strongly recommended. So now Shakti Singh is on. Good evening, Shakti.
How are you, sir?
Good. How may I help you?
So I came here through Mexico, but I was inspected by the Custom and Border Patrol, so I have I-94 ID.
Excellent, excellent.
And I filed my asylum case in 2013. So my court date was November 2019. But I don't know what happened, and then I found out I missed my court date. So I hired an attorney, and he did nothing. I was thinking like he's gonna file for me like within 90 days, but he did nothing in Chicago. So I am married now, and I have a daughter, and I don't know what to do.
Okay, the first thing which I'll need from you, I'm going to, you have my email address, info@gaylaw.com.
Yes, sir.
If you were caught at the border, were you caught?
No, I surrendered at the border.
That's good. At the border. And
yes, sir.
94, correct?
Yes, sir.
You may have a chance of qualifying for a green card in the United States without leaving the country. Because you are inspected, and there is a law,
yes, sir,
through which you may be qualified to apply for a green card in America. So because of the complexity involved in this case, you can email me and I'll definitely get back to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
info@gaylaw.com.
Thank you, sir.
Should I type it or you have my email address?
No, I will get it online.
Okay, so I'd prefer talking to you in person. There is hope in your case. Don't worry about it. You have hope.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
All right, so now this is a follow-up to a question from Theo. How soon after your green card paperwork has been submitted can you get a work permit? Approximately, Theo, you're going to get your work permit in 4 to 5 months. So in 4 to 5 months, you should qualify for a work permit. So folks, if there are any other questions, I'd love to make sure that you come in on Zoom. It's much easier and clearer, as you all can see. And please use the Zoom feature. It's amazing. It really helps a lot to people. And let's see if there are any more questions. So we answered Theo's questions. And, yes, we have Bharat Vikaria. Bharat, the last man and the lucky man. So let's take your question and then we'll be concluding our Zoom session. And thank you for the amazing viewership. Thank you to each one of you for sharing the news and letting people know. It helps a lot of people when we're on the show. All this is possible just because of wonderful viewers like you who are sharing the message and letting them know that every Wednesday we have a live show. So Bharat, your question, please. Bharat Vekaria, we are waiting for you. All right, in the meanwhile, other people can also. Okay, so Saima has a question about the E2 visa. You need to invest. It depends upon the nature of the business. It can be as less as 50 to 60,000. It can be up to 150,000, depending upon the type of business you have or the plan that you want. So Saima, let us know what your qualifications are. Send us your information so we can tell you how much you may have to invest. So Gulzar Begum, I have your number and I'm trying to save it, but also email me. All right, so we added stuff over here. So Theo, the best thing about fees is that email me and I'll get back to you so we can discuss further about the fees. But I'm very happy for you, Theo. That's the best and the fastest way to settle in this country. We all don't know when the immigration laws are going to change. So better try to work on your cases and become legal as soon as possible. And the only thing which I'm seeing is immigration is only becoming difficult by the day. So that's my current analysis, and it's because of the current administration, but we don't know who's going to be running the next administration. So as of now, things are not as easy as how they used to be in the past. So if you have any other questions, folks, email us. As you know, we have 3 offices: Forest Hills, Jamaica, and Liberty Avenue, Ozone Park. And people have been asking me about the Ozone Park office. The number for the Ozone Park office is 718-577-0711. And for the Forest Hills office, 718-263-5999. And for the Jamaica office, 718-764-6911. This is Attorney Naresh M. Ghei from Ghei and Associates. The instant program constitutes an attorney advertisement under the laws of the state of New York. We'll be back again with our viewers with some more information on this program next week. Keep watching Green Card with Ghei every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And do not forget to share this video so that we all can make this good for everybody who wants to get knowledge about what's going on with the immigration laws in the United States. Next week's subject is going to be a very, very important subject. And we are going to again talk about the E2 visa. A lot of people want me to talk again about the E2 visa. So this time we are going to combine the E1 and the E2 visa. And this is going to be excellent for viewers who want to come to America, because E1 and E2 visas are still open. So that's great if you want to come here and start your business in America. For all my business friends who want to start businesses, become an entrepreneur in the United States, the E1 and E2 can be a great help for you. But also, besides the E1 and E2, we are also going to open up the floor for any question that you may have on immigration. Thank you for watching this program, Green Card with Kehi. Again, next Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.